I would like to call to order the August 13th, 2026 Concord City Council meeting. Welcome, everyone. If you would, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, council members, you have copies of the minutes from July 7th, July 9th, and July 21st. Do I hear of any corrections or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move next to presentations. We are honored to have a very special guest with us tonight, and that is Roman Butzlaff. And we have a video that we're going to show before we do a presentation.
from California to North
All your neighbors with you, too. How are you? Good. Well, we all know that Concord is a wonderful place to live for a lot of different reasons. And this is yet another one. And because of Roman's actions, let's step over here so the photographer can see us. People all over the United States and all over the world know about that. And if you'll just Google his name, that video will come up and I think 25 others. Yeah, so you have really put Concord on the map. And the only thing that wasn't 100% positive about that video was we need to tell him how to pronounce Concord. Yes, yeah. But we have a proclamation for you, and I want to read that now. This is a proclamation from the office of the mayor. Whereas 4-year-old Roman Butzlaff has demonstrated that kindness, friendship, and a simple wave can have an impact on an entire neighborhood. And whereas after Roman's parents separated and his grandparents live in another state, he began waving to his neighbors each day, creating connections that soon grew into meaningful friendships. And whereas, inspired by Roman's warm and welcoming spirit, neighbors began attending his soccer, basketball, and baseball games, preschool open house, swim lessons, becoming an extended family of support. And whereas Roman's birthday party was filled with the neighbors whose lives he had touched, demonstrating that community is built through genuine relationships rather than proximity alone. And whereas through his joyful personality and welcoming heart, Roman introduced neighbors to one another who otherwise may have never met, strengthening the bonds within the neighborhood and reminding everyone that friendship often begins with the smallest gesture. And whereas Roman's example has inspired adults and children alike to be more connected, compassionate, and engaged with one another, proving that age is no barrier to making a lasting difference in the lives of others. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Concord City Council, I, Stephen M. Morris, Mayor of the City of Concord, do hereby recognize August 13th, 2026 as Roman Butzlaff Day. So today is your day. Congratulations. Is there anything you would like to say? Mm-hmm. Okay, you've got the microphone.
So, a red truck honks me every day. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, we want to thank you for bringing such a positive light on the city of Concord. And I'll give you this, and hopefully you can hang that in your room. And in addition to that, Councilwoman Clay, I think, came to visit you, and she was talking about your bicycle. So she purchased a gift for you on behalf of City Council that we want you to take. And it is, as a matter of fact, I'll pull it out and show it to you since you got your hands full. A bell for your bicycle that lights up. Yeah. You're welcome. I hope you will enjoy that. Thank you very much, and we appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you. And here, you can take the bag if you want to keep it in your bag to go.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Well, I got another one. Cool. Okay, next item up is presentation of a retirement plaque to Michelle Hunt. Michelle, if you would come forward along with some of our transportation staff. And anybody else that you would like to join us as well.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. This is a momentous occasion for the transit department as Michelle is the first employee we're ever having retire from the department. While the department's 15 years old, Michelle has been with us almost 14 years. And from a different conversation she was having with her compadre in customer service, I realized that I have worked longer with Michelle than any other employee in my career, just like she was talking about with her peer in customer service. So it's a big moment for us as a department. Many departments have retirements all the time, and this being our first one, and to have our first 10-year plus employee leaving us and hopefully going on to enjoy the fruits of a life of labor and now being able to enjoy family and friends and grandkids. And just wanted to extend my thanks. And Andy's been her immediate supervisor for the last half dozen years or so. So we just both wanted to say a little something before you did your presentation.
Great. Excellent.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I appreciate the opportunity. Didn't want to let Michelle go without saying a few words. I've been Michelle's supervisor for the past few years, but more importantly to me, I've been a coworker, and she's been a coworker to me for almost 12 years now. And I think you, Michelle, have taught me more than you realize. You were here day one when I walked into transit, not knowing a ton about transit, and you've really taught me a lot. Michelle, the one thing I want to say about Michelle is she just carries herself with such grace and a level of tact that I don't think a lot of people possess. She has interacted with thousands upon thousands of customers at the transit center over her 13 years, and never one time in those 13 years have I seen her get upset or get agitated or get frustrated or even raise her voice at a customer, even though we have some customers who can bring the heat to our customer service staff. So I just wanted to say that, and I said the other day that we're in the process right now of filling Michelle's position, but we will never be able to replace Michelle. So I hate to see you go, but I'm so happy for you. Our whole staff will miss you, and I know all of our customers will miss you as well. So thank you very much.
Great. Now, I'm going to repeat a little bit of what they just said, but for over 13 years of service to the city of Concord, Michelle Hunt retired August 1st, 2026, from her position at Ryder Transit as the Senior Customer Service Representative. In 2007, Michelle and her family relocated from Washington, D.C., where she had a 20-year career with the federal government, including 10 years with the Drug Enforcement Administration. That may be where she learned some patience in that area. But after moving to Concord, she pursued her passion for creativity by starting a home staging and interior design business. Following the housing market downfall, she came to the city's transit department. She joined Ryder Transit in November of 2012, and except for the transit director, was the longest tenured employee within the department. As the first point of contact for many transit customers, Michelle has served as the Ryder Transit Center with a professional level of tact and consistently calm demeanor, despite being often faced with customers who can be frustrated and in a hurry to get to their destination. She is well known and appreciated by many longtime customers and community members. Being only one of 2 customer service employees on the transit staff, She has often been relied upon to heavily cover extra hours behind the customer through COVID, continuing to greet and assist and reassure customers at the Ryder Transit Center during that incredibly challenging and stressful time. In addition to her daily duties at the office, especially around the holidays, she expressed her love of decorating and design. Each December, the Transit Center, she created festive Christmas themes that brought joy to co-workers and visitors. As Michelle begins her retirement, she looks forward to spending more time with family and embracing new adventures. Congratulations. And we have this plaque for you, presented to Michelle Hunt in recognition of over 13 years of faithful, loyal, and dedicated service to the City of Concord Transit Department. Congratulations. And please, we'd love to hear some words from you. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to retiring. I will miss working for the city. My retirement has already started. I've been out of town for a couple of weeks, and I'll be leaving tomorrow to go on a cruise. So,
oh, congratulations!
Life part 2 begins.
Right. Yeah.
Now, was I allowed to bring my family?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah, please ask your family members to come up and join you.
My husband, my mother, my oldest daughter, my granddaughter, my middle daughter, my son and his wife, and my grandson are here with me.
Wonderful. And LJ can get a picture for us. How are you? Okay. Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, and our next item, our recognition of the Finance Department, we did on Tuesday. So we will now move to departmental reports, and Jay Rowe has a report on our Parks and Recreation Bond update. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Teed, and Ms. Jenkins. I'm happy to give the August update for our council projects or bond projects for this month. Starting off with the financial slide, the only changes from last month are the investment earnings, which was an increase of $64,118 that you'll see on the third line there from July. And we'll continue to show this update as we have other projects coming to completion and going out to bid. For our current projects under construction, first one, this is nearing completion. We just had our final punch list walkthrough last week. As you'll see, the top right, that's our new storage building and restroom building that is complete. They installed all of the natural grass behind the dugouts, as well as all the concrete behind the dugouts as well. And we are getting ready for our ribbon cutting ceremony that'll take place end of this month. For J.E. Jim Ramser Park, construction continues here. You'll see the top left is a additional boardwalk that was installed recently. The top right is our playground, or one of the playgrounds that's being prepped right now, as well as the bottom right. There's going to be multiple playgrounds near each other that will connect. And then we have some improvements to both the parking lot you'll see there, and then they started the prep work for the pickleball courts, as well as the shelter footings are scheduled to go in soon. And this is still on schedule to open up next summer. And then finally, we just had our groundbreaking mid-July for David Phillips Park. So the only progress so far is just some clearing and some grubbing that's taken place. We'll continue to show progress as we see more pictures for David Phillips, but it's starting to make some progress. We had some weather delays so far from the rain that we've had this month, but we'll continue to show the progress. And then for our next projects coming up, we are excited to say that the Academy Skate Park pump track sculpture garden went out to bid last week. So that is out there right now. The pre-bid meeting is scheduled for August 27th, and the final bids are going to be read on September 17th. Next project after that would be Hartzell Park. The plan was to wait until we get all of the fields ready and open for Webb, McAllister, and Gibson. So now that those are coming back open, we'll plan to take this out to bid in the late fall or early winter. So we'll give you project updates when that comes to fruition. And then the next project that's in design is our Poplar Tent Trailhead Park that we're working on internally with engineering. Not much update for this for right now. We'll continue to just work on the connection points with Duke Energy and the Carolina International School, as well as the internal working for Wilson Street Park that we plan to do more working in, actually breaking ground next summer on for that one. Next project is seeking approval for the next phase of WW Flow, which was presented on Tuesday. So any other questions that you might have for that, we can discuss later, but that was presented. And then there's no updates right now for the Academy Recreation Center, as we're gonna start working on the RFP that will go out sometime in 2027 for that project. And I'm excited to share there's a third picture. We have not had three yet. This is the first time we'll have Caldwell Park shown as a completed project. I will also just add the response from the community has been phenomenal. The numbers have been great. People are absolutely loving Caldwell Park. We're averaging close to 400 people a day as we track the numbers of everyone coming to the park. And in the first 2 weeks it was open in July, we had over 6,200 people visit the park. And just absolutely loving the splash pad. Obviously has been the main attraction with the hot weather, but everything else, there's people playing basketball in the shade, which is really enjoyable for everyone. The playground's been great, shelters, just really, really getting a positive response from Caldwell Park. And then nothing for the timelines have changed, but as they do have updates, we'll continue to make sure we keep you in the loop. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jay? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next up on the agenda is public comment, persons requesting to be heard. So I'll read our rules on that. This portion of our meeting is our time to recognize persons requesting to be heard and provides an opportunity for anyone wishing to address the City Council to do so. Each person will receive 3 minutes to address the council. There'll be a countdown clock on the screen. This is a time of listening for the council. The subject will be noted, and if it requires action or a request, the city manager will note as such and provide steps for any required response or after action. And I think everyone that has signed up has left their contact information with the city clerk so we know how to get back in touch with you. And so the first speaker is Margaret Puckett from Toll Brothers. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor's Council, or members of council. My name is Margaret Puckett. I'm here on behalf of Toll Brothers to respectfully request sewer allocation for 138 single-family homes for our proposed Concord Estates community located at 4460 Weddington Road. I know that council has a difficult job when it comes to sewer allocation. There is more demand than available capacity, so I think the important question is not simply whether a project needs sewer. It is, what is the city going to get in return for allocating that capacity? We believe at Toll Brothers that our Concord Estates project presents a very compelling case. The property consists of 75 acres on Weddington Road, immediately adjacent to West Cabarrus High School, and it's surrounded by largely existing residential communities and 4 Cabarrus County schools across Weddington Road. One of the most important things that I'd like council to understand tonight is that, or I should say, what otherwise could happen with this property. The property is already zoned RV and has significant by right development potential. In fact, a previous plan that was contemplated had 343 homes, 243 townhomes, and 95 singles. Our proposal is half of that density. We plan to propose 138 single-family detached homes across 75 acres, roughly 1.8 homes per acre. So rather than maximizing the density that the existing zoning would allow, we're intentionally intentionally proposing much lower density in a community that we believe would be more compatible with the surrounding area. We're also committed to making significant investments outside of the homes themselves. Along Weddington Road, our plan includes 2 left turn lanes in addition to 2 right turn lanes associated with our project entrances. We believe those improvements will help traffic created by our community, but also improving the roadway infrastructure in this area. We're focused on connectivity to the schools that surround this property. Our plan proposes walking trails to the existing West Cabarrus High School, but we've also introduced the idea of partnering with Cabarrus County Schools to install additional sidewalk that would allow pedestrian access to the elementary school in addition to the middle school. But beyond the numbers and the infrastructure, I think it's also important to understand what Toll Brothers intends to build here. We're not proposing a high-density community. We are a luxury home builder. We operate in 60 markets across the country, but the homes that we're proposing at Condor Estates will reflect the architecture, materials, interior design, outdoor living, and overall community appearance that you've seen in my packet that I've presented. Our objective would be to create a community that adds lasting value to the city of Concord. Similar to Roman's story, we hope to build those communities to have families enjoy what we have to offer in this wonderful city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Zach Allman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate y'all having me today. I'm here on behalf of McIntosh Law Firm and Bob Bennett and Stanley Martin and his development Roycroft. I'm here today on behalf of Larry Shaheen also. I know Larry typically addresses this group. Larry is currently in Iceland and kind of wish I was enjoying that weather too right now. But appreciate y'all's time. Here on behalf of Bob Bennett. Bob is a good builder. He's proposing 50 new lots at his current development called Roycroft. Bob builds at a level that is a net positive to the tax base. Not all developments that come in are a net positive to the tax base after they come and utilize the services of water, sewer, police, fire, schools, you name it. Bob builds at a price point that is favorable to the tax base. I think that's a really good point. All of what he's asking for is 50 new lots. His development is already under development, so what he's asking for an additional 50 lots to what's already being done. So Bob, he's always been a good partner to Concord, and I know the board has seen Bob and has this in front. I know you guys have this in front of y'all now with his proposed addition. So really appreciate y'all's consideration at the next allotment for sewer. And if there's anything that we can do as far as answering questions or address any concerns, feel free to reach out to me, to Bob. I know he's spoken with many of y'all, and Larry also. So want to respect y'all's time and appreciate y'all having me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Dan Galtieri.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members of Council. My name is Dan Gualtieri, and I'm here on behalf of Crescent Communities. Crescent is a Charlotte-based developer with deep roots in this region. We've developed more than 20 multifamily communities across the Charlotte area, including Bexley Village right here in Concord at Concord Mills. Our novel communities are built to a high standard and backed by professional on-site property management. Our novel Weddington Ridge project sits in a proven corridor minutes from Concord Mills, surrounded by established retail and dining, and adjacent to the Rocky River Golf Club. This is exactly where new housing belongs. I am pleased to report that Phase 1 and 2 of our novel Weddington Ridge project is under construction now. As you can see, this is an active project delivering real progress on the ground right now, and this is both Phase 1 and 2 under construction right now on Weddington Road. Zooming out a little bit to our site plan. In total, the project includes 297 apartments. Phase 1, 132 of the apartments is served with public sewer capacity that was secured back in 2020. Phase 2, the remaining 165 apartments do not have public sewer capacity yet, and tonight's request is an allocation of 16,875 gallons per day for those in Phase 2. And just backing up to on a timeline of this project, We've been a patient and persistent partner. Phase one, like I had said, was secured back in 2020. Then the sewer allocation policy was adopted in 2022, and we have applied every single quarter since then for sewer capacity for our phase two of this project. And now with construction underway in both phases, a decision is needed in order to proceed with our phase two of the project. This is our master site plan. And just noting that what's at stake now is without public capacity, phase two has to be served with a private sewer system, which is fully designed and approved. That private sewer system is going to be located on the phase three land, which is currently entitled for townhomes. And we are ready to proceed with the construction of that. The land that, as I'd mentioned, the land that the phase three includes is planned for 137 townhomes. The private sewer system that is planned for that land includes over 30,000 linear feet of drip tubing that'll crisscross that land. So here we are kind of at a crossroads. On the current path, we continue and spend $2 million constructing this private sewer system and encumbering that phase three land kind of indefinitely for future townhome development. Alternatively, we pay the estimated $400,000 that would be paid to the city of Concord as well as Wasac for connection fees for the phase two of our project. Then that would leave that land open for future development on the phase three land. I'll just close here quick. Looks like my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Ryan Kinney. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Ryan Kinney. I'm with New Branch Real Estate Advisors, and I represent the sellers of the approximately 75 acres off of Weddington Road, 4460 Weddington Road. I've already spoken to most of you, and if I haven't, I welcome the opportunity to discuss. As you already know, the traditional way to sell a property is to put it on the market, find a buyer, and then approach the city for sewer allocation and for permitting. For this property, we intentionally took a different approach. Before going to the market, we met with city council members to better understand the city's priorities so we could align them with the outcome and the needs of Concord. From those discussions, we learned that low-density executive-level housing was a need, so we intentionally sought out builders capable of delivering that quality, which led us to Toll Brothers. This property is currently zoned for 8 units per acre, or roughly 600 homes. Based on our discussions with City Council, we knew that lower density was important, so Toll Brothers listened to that direction, and the proposal before you tonight is only for 137 executive-level single-family homes. As the process stands today, City Council must approve the sewer allocation. If that process were to ever return to a first-come, first-served basis, this property could see a much higher density. We believe 137 homes provides Concord with a higher quality and more thoughtful approach to development. As a resident of Concord and one that lives less than 1 mile from this property off of Weddington Road, I drive past this property at least once a day and have a vested interest in the outcome that extends beyond my role as the owner's representative. I truly believe this will be a high-quality addition to Concord and something that the community will be proud of. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Keisha Sandage. Welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing? I know I can be a bit critical of our elected officials sometimes, but I'm here today with great news, and I want to thank you all for your responses to Policy 510. I've come several times and I've talked to you. I've received a response from all the council members on 2 things that I've sent to you, and I'll get ready to talk about the second one in a minute. The only person I have not received a response from is you, Mr. Sweat. It would be helpful to respond to people who are your constituents or not, but that live in the city that you are an elected official for. So the thing I came to talk to you guys tonight about was the second topic that I sent you. And if you'll remember a few months ago, DA Shanley came to you all and talked about youth violence in our community and how it's on the rise. So I sent you all an email. I sent it to most of our elected bodies across the county, except for the Kannapolis City School System, and I do plan to send it to them and their superintendent. That kind of broke down a potential for our county, each municipality, to offer either unpaid or paid internships for our youth as a way to maybe mitigate some of the time that they have on their hand to kind of get in trouble, which is what I feel we are seeing. I got responses back. Most talked about there is a youth council. I am talking about something completely different. We've got to put our kids to work. At the tender age of 13, 14, every summer, I had a summer job at my school. I got paid for it. I learned how to pay bills with my parents and help them pay bills and put groceries in the refrigerator and in the cabinets. And because of that, it made me not want to join gangs in California. It made me want to understand what it looks like to be a responsible human being and a responsible citizen. I do know, and I believe you had some, Mayor, you had some dealings with getting this started. The Cabarrus Summit meets quarterly, and you guys meet as municipalities, and I believe the school board is involved now. I think this is an opportunity for you all to get together and talk about what this looks like for our county, what this looks like for each municipality, and how it can allow for us to do something different and better for our youth. Councilwoman Santana, I appreciate you doing a lot of research and looking at other programs, other cities. I appreciate that in that response. Maybe that's a discussion to have with your colleagues. Lastly, I want to say I have received information back from DA Shanley about her internship program. I'm waiting on information back from the county because they have one as well. I do plan to put a report together and put that out to you all so that you guys can really start talking about what this looks like and what's already out there so that we can truly address youth violence in Cabarrus. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Charles Patel.
Good evening, officer of the Concord. I have a property here on a Lincoln Street, right by the new project going on the Greenway. I bought it about 7 years ago, and then I had a mom passed away in California, and she was in a care house, so I had to go there for a while. And then the COVID hit, and I couldn't open the laundromat. It's a laundromat, and there's an old building next to it. And the old building is the city is forcing to demolish it. And last year they sent me preserving the building. And now they say you have to demolish the building. There's a greenway next to it, going through it. And then after that, Greenway started, they start building the bridge over there. So they closed down the Lincoln Street for almost 3 years. And now they just opened it. And I'm keep getting a notice from the code enforcement people that you have to take the building demolished. You have to empty the building out. I say, I need to sell the building. I put it on the market. I need some time, but they are not agreeing anything to it. I don't know why. Any buyer goes to the city zoning department or code enforcement department, and they turn them down. They say, we don't give you any information about the property. You have to contact the seller. So I don't know what to do anymore. Yeah, I just got the text message from code enforcement today. It said you have to take all the stuff out of the old building because we are demolishing it It's not, it's eyesore. And only question I have, before 7 years, why wasn't this property wasn't eyesore at that time? That was my question. Why now it's eyesore. And it's right next to the greenway, and they want to clean the area. I say, I'm agreed to it. I have no more energy to do it. I have, a pre-stage of Alzheimer. I cannot do anything, a lot of other stuff. So I have to sell the property. I put the sign over there, and I'm getting Mr. John Watson sending me a message saying, you have to get it out of there and clean the building. So I don't know what I expect from the city now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Sarah Beeson.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for hearing us tonight. My name is Sarah Beeson. I'm with Alexander Ricks, and I'm here on behalf of Johnson Development Associates in connection with their preliminary sewer allocation application. It came through in the last cycle in June, so that might not be an unfamiliar name. They are looking at one of the last industrial sites in the International Business Park. And they have been working very closely with Gretchen and Samantha at Cabarrus EDC, as well as with the city of Concord to work through this process. They've gone through, the initial request was for 4,000 gallons per day last time. Looking back at the space, which is a less than 75,000 square foot industrial build, they've gone through and pulled that down to about 2,600 gallons per day for the new submission for this next cycle. And so we do want to reiterate, it will require rezoning. That is part of the application package, including the site plan and the elevations. That is showing the high quality caliber of the building and the targeted focus that they're having with research, manufacturing development, warehousing, and other uses in that light industrial category. The kind of proponent of the speculative build is that it will attract some of these other employers and prospective new employers to the area that potentially can't accommodate a longer build-to-suite or other timelines in that process. And so they have been working with EDC, trying to attract those and working through this project. Nolan Group, as you know, who has been working with that build-out of the industrial park, is very supportive of JDA in this request, and a letter from that owner is included within the application to state their support and to request your support for that request as well, to help them close out a project that they've developed for decades. There are currently over 30 companies in that park, and they have made significant contributions to the tax base and job growth in the area. And JDA hopes to come in and partner with the city, with the rest of the business group, and continue on the success that has already been had with the product that y'all have enabled to come to the city. If the allocations go through, the timing is really hopefully to start construction next year and have a build out, if possible, by 2028. We do believe this aligns with the land use plan, focusing on high quality products along this industrial corridor, as well as focusing on business expansion and job growth. As you can see on the site plan that's included, there is a 50-foot Class D buffer that's being provided. The orientation of that building is with rear docks facing away from International Drive and providing dual access coming in and out of that site. So we really do believe this is a highly attractive product with a lot of potential to help close out the International Business Park. And so we respectfully request your support, and we look forward to coming in September and continuing to reach out for individual one-on-one meetings as you have availability. So please contact myself or Austin Boyd, who's been most of the direct contact from Johnson Development Group, and we look forward to speaking with you. Thank you for your support and consideration.
Thank you. And that concludes all persons that have signed up for public comment tonight. So we now will move into our public hearings. First up, number 1 is conduct a public hearing to consider adopting a resolution authorizing the negotiation of an installment financing contract. Jessica talked with us about this on Tuesday. Does anybody have any additional questions on that before we open the public hearing? Okay, that being said, I will open the public hearing on this item. We do not have anyone that has signed up to speak, so if there's anybody that failed to have an opportunity and you would like to speak on this matter, you may come to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. In council, the recommendation from staff is a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the negotiation of an installment financing contract in the amount of $10,200,000. Do I hear such a motion?
Mayor, I move we approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes unanimously. And we move to item 2. This is to conduct a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance amending various articles, Article 1 through 4, 6 through 14 of the Concord Development Ordinance to address board and commission structure and duties, address signs in the Center City zoning district, and further provide clarity, increase user efficiency, and comply with the North Carolina general statutes. And Autumn talked with us about this on Tuesday. I think Kevin is available to answer any questions if anybody has anything additional. Kevin, is there anything else you think we need to know? So at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Once again, we did not have anyone to sign up to speak, but if anyone has any input on this proposal, now's your time.
This is about the sign ordinance?
It is about the sign ordinance, yes. Yes, sir.
I own on-site computer service. I've had the store there for 16 years. And this couple weeks ago, I had to put a digital sign up because I got my sign permit 16 years ago. I didn't think there was a law or a rule about putting a digital sign up. I mean, it's 2026. Well, I put it up. 3 days later, I got a letter or an envelope sticking in my door that you're not allowed to have digital signs in downtown Concord because of the storage district. And I can understand that, but I mean, it's 2026. I don't know how long ago that was written. But, I mean, I even told the guy, I said, I'll put welcome to downtown, or historic downtown Concord. I can do anything with that sign. It plays videos. And I just want you to reconsider that ordinance or whatever.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. And Kevin, if you want to address that specifically, there is some wording in here about electronic signs, but I think that only applies to public art facilities. You know the wording certainly better than I.
Correct. Yes, sir. The electronic message board is only allowed in certain quasi-public uses in downtown.
Right, and I asked that question on Tuesday night, thinking specifically about your situation, and the answer that I received was that the library and the Arts Council were the only 2 institutions that qualified. Is that correct?
Under this revision, yes, sir.
And so nowhere else in the central business district is that.
And this is an electronic message board with movable.
Right,
Yes,
okay. Okay, anything else you want to add? Okay. All righty, thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak in the public hearing? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Council members, the recommendation on this one is a motion to adopt an ordinance amending various Articles 1 through 4 and 6 through 14 of the Concord Development Ordinance to address board and commission structure and duties, address signs in the Center City zoning district, and further provide clarity, increase user efficiency, and comply with the North Carolina general statutes. Do I hear such a motion?
I have a question first, sir. Kevin, could you clarify, just so I know, what what the ordinance may have said about digital signs previously? Was there some ambiguity there that maybe caused Greg to think that it was okay to have that sign? And are we now changing that to where?
No, ma'am,
it's-
we're talking about a digital message board with movable.
It doesn't, as soon as I got the letter, that's one solid thing. I'm perfect, it was running 24 hours a day. I have to come on at 7, it shuts off at 10.
But it's a digital sign with movable message?
I haven't approved it.
Okay. No, they've never been permissible in Center City whatsoever, any message boards. This would be the only exception would be the.
What about the lottery signs on all the gas station right across the street from me? That's digital. It changes every time the millions go up.
We can definitely look into that. I do not know if that corner is zoned Center City. I'm not certain.
Well, I appreciate the answer. I was just curious if there was some ambiguity there or something that had made, that wasn't clear about that would have led you to think that that was okay. I just wanted to be sure that that was not something that we had misled from our part on the city, or that it was a change, to where it was allowed at one point in time or wasn't clear, and now we've changed our position. Thank you.
Yeah, for the sake of clarity, for those that did not hear the discussion on Tuesday night, I think primarily the issues regarding signs that we discussed in this relate to the calculation of coverage on window signs was the primary item, right?
Correct. Additionally, we've talked about the exceptions for the public and civic uses for the digital ground-mounted message board.
Right, so those
Signs.
two
Those are two things.
comprised.
We've allowed an additional projecting sign per building entrance. They're now based on building entrances as opposed to building walls. The calculation, as you mentioned, we've also instituted, as opposed to 20% on a window sign, we're allowing up to 30%. As opposed to calculating a rectangle, we're allowing a polygon, so that allows a little more flexibility with the design. And we've instituted transparency requirements to where you can't block your complete window and not be able to see it.
Right.
Those are the major things.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have
Kevin, I
any?
just want to be clear on what Lori is actually saying. So digital signage was never permitted, am I
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, that's all I
So
need
just,
to be
I think
clear.
the question I'm asking too, there's nothing that we're changing tonight that unfortunately would have changed this gentleman's outcome from that perspective. I think that's ultimately the question that everybody's
Right.
looking to answer, and I think that's what he said. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I do still have a need for a motion. Yeah.
Do we have the statement of reasonableness and consistency?
Oh,
So this is one of the two,
gotcha.
this is one of the two-step processes.
Right.
So the first would be to adopt a statement of reasonableness and consistency, and then we'd move on to the motion for the text amendment.
Okay. Council members, you see the two choices on the screen. Do I hear a motion to adopt or approve one or the other?
Mayor, I move we approve the two bullets in blue. I think that's blue in color, am I correct? Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the statement of reasonableness and consistency. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes.
And then the second step would be a motion to approve or to deny the text amendment.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, and then, all right, and then the next item 3, and that was for the zoning map amendment for property at Palisade Drive. We have a request from the owner for that matter to be tabled to our September meeting. So I would entertain a motion to table this item until September. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next up is presentation of petitions and requests. Item 1 on your agenda has been withdrawn, so we will move to item 2, and that's consider authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 3 for the North Apron roadway project at Concord Pageant Regional Airport. Eric was here on Tuesday and talked with us about that. He is also here tonight if anyone has any additional questions. Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute change order number 3 for $145,329.85 and to approve the budget amendment attached. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Item 3, consider authorizing the city manager to execute amendment number 2 with Talbot, Bright, and Ellington for the North Apron roadway project at Concord Pageant Regional Airport. Eric also talked about that item on Tuesday night. Does anyone have any additional questions? Okay, in that case, I would entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute amendment number 2 for $299,604.91 and to approve the budget amendment attached.
So moved, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Next is item 4, and this is to consider adopting an ordinance amending Chapter 60, Stormwater Quality Control and Management, Article 4, Stormwater Quality Control and Management, Section 60-46, duty of owner to comply with National Pollution Discharge Elimination Permit Phase 2 and utility compliance of the city code to address property owner responsibility and compliance when making changes to owned parcels. Kevin talked with us about that item on Tuesday night. Any additional questions for him? Okay. If not, then I would entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending section 60-46 of the city code related to property owner responsibility and compliance with NPDES Phase 2 permits, the North Carolina Administrative Code, and all applicable zoning and development ordinances of the city. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Next up is item 5, present updates to the Downtown Concord Municipal Service District Facade Grant Program. Paige talked to us about that item. I think there were some questions that you've received some additional information about the facade grants over the past couple of years. And the recommendation was to approve revisions to the facade grant policy as recommended, which reduces those awards which had been increased from 5 to 10 during the reconstruction project, and now they want to go back to 5. I get that right? Yes. Any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve revisions to the downtown facade grant policy as recommended by the CDDC's Urban Living committee.
I'll make that motion, please, sir.
All righty, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move to item 6. This is to consider adopting an ordinance ordering the demolition of the structure located at 426 Lincoln Street, owned by Clean Clothes Enterprises. Chief Hughes talked to us about that one on Tuesday. Do you have additional questions for him?
I'm curious if Mr. Patel has been given a day that they're wanting to start demolition of this project.
The next steps would be, if approved this evening, then they would have to provide him an opportunity to remove items out of the property. They'd have to send this out to bid. The bids would have to be returned. So there's a process that takes place if this was to be approved.
Okay. Because I'm curious why he's maybe being told to move his things already?
If he got told to move those, it would have been an error. An error. It would have happened prematurely.
Okay. And the definition that it's not necessarily just an eyesore as much as it is a public safety issue, correct?
Correct. It's the structure's dilapidated as the photos depicted Tuesday evening.
Okay, great. Thank you for the clarity.
And I guess, Chief, while you're there, because we did have this discussion on Tuesday, are you able to, just for the people that are here that probably weren't present, because we talked about the new parks and the safety issues, so can you talk a little bit about that? And I'm gonna look at legal, because we also had the conversation of once it does get demolished, they still can sell the property and how the process works. So it's not necessarily a recommendation from us, but just from a process perspective, how that goes. I'm not sure if they also understand that process. Can you speak a little bit on that?
I can speak to that second point. So this is not like a condemnation action in that the city's taking ownership. Sorry, I'll speak up. This is not a condemnation action in that the city's taking ownership of the parcel. They are simply getting an ordinance to demolish the structure that's on there. The owner of the parcel will still be able to sell the property. It just will no longer have this dilapidated structure on it. And then I also want to take the opportunity to correct an answer that I gave to Councilwoman Santana. You asked about interest. I said no because I was relying on my construction experience. These are treated like tax liens and they do accrue interest. So I want to correct that.
Right, so would it be helpful for me to show the photographs again? Can you pull it up, please?
Microphone. Well, everybody needs
So
to
just
hear you.
from a safety standpoint, so I'm going to show the photographs. Again, we have the location is near the corner of Cozart and Lincoln Street. Here is a photograph that depicts the street view of this. And as you can see, the structure itself has holes in the roof. And as we go through the photographs, you can see that the block wall is deteriorating, that the soffits are deteriorating, and that there's actual holes through the side of the structure. And also along the side of the structure, the block itself is separating, so the foundation itself has been disturbed and is to the place where the block is separating, to the building's actually moving. And then again, you can see more detail of the roof where it's allowing weather to intrude into the structure. And again, another photograph. So here's the interior of the structure. And as you can see, kind of in the center of the screen beside the red door, you can see the light coming through where the exterior is now open to the interior. Here's another example of an additional photograph that shows the same. And towards the bottom of the screen, under the grate to the left of the foot, is a hole that's being covered by the grate as well. And so these are just photographs that depict the condition of the structure. And again, we talked about earlier, the community exposure, but then also the fact that was pointed out, the greenway that's nearby, the park that's nearby, the housing that's nearby as well. And so this is just a visual representation of what the community is experiencing.
If you would, it may be beneficial to show the timeline of the violations to code.
Yes,
The chances
sir.
that were given and all those. Good.
Okay, so again, this was two separate cases. Originally, back in 2024, a case was opened up, a finding of fact, and order to demolish was mailed in July of 2024. In August 20th of 2024, an extension was granted with a deadline to September 20th of 2024. On October 7th, the property owner obtained a building permit to conduct repairs. So in good faith, that case was closed. April of 2025, a building permit was reactivated, and again on January 27th as well. However, there was no rehabilitation work or corrective action taken at that time. So that's the very first case. So then we move into 2026. February 25, another case was opened up. The same notice of violation was mailed. March 27th, the same of this year, the finding of fact, an order was issued. April 27th, an extension was granted with a deadline of May 27th. June 6th, the second extension was granted with an expiration of June 27th. And June 30th, the third request was submitted and was denied because there was not any substantial improvement to the property. Does that answer that? Yes, sir.
Okay, are there any additional questions?
I have a question. I don't know who it goes to. I think it might be a Ryan question. I don't see that we have done anything other than what we're supposed to do, right? From that perspective, I see there's safety issues. I also feel like there's some lack of clarity at this point that does concern me, because I know what we do is very convoluted too, right? And even as much as we can go through and explain it, and I'm not saying that our staff hasn't done that, so I want to make that clear. But Ryan, if we took this and basically put it on the September as opposed to, what ramifications, like, or maybe that is a chief question, does that have? In other words, I'm not saying that we change anything. I'm not saying that we don't do it, because I'm okay if the majority of the council wants to vote on this tonight. I just feel like there's a lack of clarity, and you got 30 days to, make sure that you're clear on it, because it's coming back and we're voting on it next month. I just, is that a possibility to do that? We've never done that with one of these before.
I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know I don't know that anything would change factually.
Correct.
The hearing's already happened.
Correct.
The findings and the order have already been sent out.
It feels like there's a lack of clarity even on the part, what you just said of this, we are not taking the structure. We are not. And that just, I don't know, that bothers me a little bit. I don't know. Does anybody else on council feel like that? And again, I'm not saying we don't vote on it next month. That's not my point. And I think that's a good point, Ryan. Nothing changes, but it just feels like there's a lack of clarity.
I agree. I agree. And I don't think it's giving anybody 30 days. It's really more, if what I'm hearing this correctly, which is why I wanted the chief to explain this, I agree with Jennifer on being able to table this motion for next month, just to allow enough time to really have those clear specifications and clarity. Because from what we heard earlier, I wanted to ask about, make sure people understand we're not taking anyone's property, we're not taking their land, we're not taking any of that. And I think that's probably one of the things that people don't have clear understanding on, so.
And you can still sell it.
Exactly.
This does not change the sellability. In fact, sir, in my opinion, this is my profession, this enhances your sellability. And I just don't, now that's my opinion, but I just don't feel like there's clarity there. And that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking to change the process. We've done what we're gonna do, and in my opinion, I fully support this on the September agenda. Wait, is this August?
But you
September?
don't feel that
Yeah.
he understands his
Correct.
predicament, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we haven't clearly expressed that to him.
I'm not saying we haven't clearly
Okay.
explained it. That's not what I said.
All right, but he's not understanding it, though. You're clear on that.
Okay, so the
Is that gonna
question
improve?
that I would, I'm sorry.
Has there been face-to-face discussions?
I cannot stand here and say for sure, but I will say that the code officer has his cell phone number, which is why he said that he was texted earlier today.
Right.
My understanding is that they have had that, but I'm not
Okay.
going to stand up here and say
Okay.
for sure. But I would just point out that, I know you can't see the file here, but there are letters in here where he's received letters. There's correspondence where he sent correspondence back to it. There are receipts where the
Sure.
letters have been received. So
And
all
please
of
know,
those things.
I in no way think that we haven't done what we're supposed to do. I just feel like maybe a face-to-face conversation. And LaDerek, I'm gonna look to you because you're up here. We haven't put you on the hot seat yet. What is the most appropriate way to do that? Because I do not want to be asking staff to do anything in any way, because that is not my jurisdiction. If that's possible, if the council agrees, because this is just Jennifer at this point, what would that look like?
I think, that is council's, purview. As the chief said, we've gone through our process, and we believe that our process is thorough. We believe that we communicate well. We don't have a lot of these where folks come back and say they don't understand. And so we've gone through our process, and that's why it's come to you to say if you're comfortable this month or if you want to move it to next month. But I believe that, our process has been fairly well consistent over time. So
If it makes you feel more comfortable, I can verify that in fact there was face-to-face conversations. If not, I'll ensure that that happens, and then next month I can report back that in fact it occurred on whatever days. Yes, ma'am.
I'll support Jennifer in this as well. I think the 30 days is not going to make that much difference whether that building's standing there or not, So just make sure that Mr. Patel clearly understands where he's at with the building. So, and then feed that back.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it being tabled until next month. I do believe that, Chief, that you all have done a thorough job. But for the benefit of whatever reason, I'm okay with it. I just need to know, and I think you just shared what that process will look like. What are we looking for to happen within the next 30 days?
Yeah. What's the result we're looking for here? Was Mr. Patel going to how do we know he's going to clearly understand where his predicament is? He does.
I think this is from this time, and Ryan, I'm going to ask you, can I go ahead and formally make that motion for us to table the consideration of adopting and ordering the demolition of the structure located on 426?
You can make that motion.
Okay.
We probably need to determine, though, I think to Derek's point, and to the chief's point, what is the expectation? And
Please.
that makes me uncomfortable because council doesn't normally give staff expectation. But I do think if maybe it has a face-to-face happen, and if it doesn't, like you said, if it could be, I also know that the level of understanding when we talk about government stuff, we can't determine that, piece. I think that's a hard determination. I don't think we can task you with that. But tell me what you think is fair.
Right, so I can verify that in fact a face-to-face conversation
Okay.
occurred. I can verify that it was communicated as simplistic as possible.
Okay.
But outside of that, I can't for sure say that
Correct.
anybody understands
Correct.
that communication. There has to be some acceptance in that dialogue that affirms, yes, I understand this.
Yep.
I think that it's important just to know that there's nothing really going to change between here and then. We can do those things, but outside of that, I don't know what else to do to help to convey the message other than in writing and in spoken language.
I think,
So-
Chief, I'm curious, if there's been no face-to-face meeting or whatever, how did code enforcement get in?
Right,
to get the
that's why I'm
pictures?
saying I'm reasonably confident that there has been, but I can't in good faith stand here and say for sure without a
Right.
doubt. And I was trying to just, as I was standing here, flip through the notes to see if it said something about trying to meet in person, but I'd have to go back through the file to verify. So, but again, if council's decision is to table this, definitely code enforcement can have that face-to-face conversation. And if that makes everything more comfortable, then that is fine with us.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think when Mr. Patel used the word eyesore, that threw a flag to me that maybe he just thinks we're doing this because it's an eyesore. But in fact, we're looking at it as a public safety issue.
Correct.
And there could be a big difference there in what he understands with that and what he thinks may or may not happen with the property. I'm going to speak out of both sides of my mouth. I don't know what we're going to think can happen in 30 days. I don't think you can work miracles on that building in 30 days. It's probably still going to get demolished. But I tend to agree with all of y'all that I'd feel much better just knowing that we absolutely explained and clearly defined. There's a big difference between an eyesore. Some would say my house right now is an eyesore, and I probably would agree. But it's not a public safety issue and doesn't merit being torn down. So I just feel like that clarity ought to be a little bit more maybe well-made.
So another way we could go is, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, you could approve the motion because nothing is going to change with the understanding that a face-to-face happens to outline the tax ramification, this is what happens, this is the cost, this is all of those things. I mean, that's another way we could go too.
I think an important question to ask before you make a decision on this is, what happens during that 30 days on these civil penalties and the amount of $200 a day that have already begun accruing?
They continue.
They continue for another 30 days.
I just think that's a risk Mr. Patel takes.
I just have a question, and you said we can ask the party here. Do they understand that they can still sell this property even after the building is demolished?
Yeah, but the problem is the price you don't get, you have two buildings, so you don't get the same price like the one building, because they tear it down. And why the police officer sent the message before we even come to the meeting? He doesn't have a right to say before we come to the meeting, you have to move your stuff out. He doesn't know what's going to be happening here today. He doesn't have a right to text message this morning. He text messages, you have to move your stuff out. We still in a meeting, we just came in a meeting today. He sent a message before we came. He doesn't have a right to do that.
I understand. I can't comment on that. I just want to make sure from a council perspective that whether we provide the 30 days for clarity, because it's not for changes, it's just for clarity, for you to understand that you can still sell the property even if the building is demolished.
But demolition is going to takes time because my husband have enough health issues really bad. So it's 30 days, we cannot do it. 30 days,
You don't demo the building.
Huh?
You understand that, right? You're not responsible for the demolition. No. See, that's my point. No, I can't. That's a Ryan question. Yeah, will you explain that?
They said we have to do the demolition.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a
If you want,
lot.
I'm happy to clarify.
Let
So
Ryan
the
explain
original
that.
order that you would have received, the findings of fact in the order, said that you needed to demolish the building.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, then the city could seek an ordinance so that the city could demolish it. And that's what's before city council
Who gonna
today.
pay for demolition?
The city would pay for the demolition, and then it becomes a lien on the property.
What I like, one other thing, sir, if we demolish, it's fine, but I like to put new building on the same place, if it's possible.
I mean, I can't give you advice on what it will still be your property.
Yeah,
The
but-
city's not taking the property.
But what did he say? He want after demolition this building, he want to put one more building. The city can. give
Same
the permit.
square footage and everything.
I mean, yeah.
Zoning issue or permitting issue.
That would be for planning.
As long as it's commercial.
But can I ask another question, Ryan? Maybe I'm not clear on this. If we proceed to demolish the building, when does his fines quit accruing? When do the fines quit accruing?
But it's for the new owner, not for me, I'm not doing anything. I just want to sell and get out because I'm not feeling good anymore, so.
We have a building in a sale right now for 4 months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. a
6
building.
months.
Yeah.
It's on the sale right now. It's on the market right now. The whole property plus
But-
a half acre land next to the laundry.
Brian, my question would
Everything's on
be,
the sale right now.
my question would be, during all this time, whatever time it takes to demolish the building and continue, he puts a new building up, if that's your goal, correct? I'm hearing you, just, oh, the new owner would put it up. Okay, well, anyway, the fines will keep accruing, am I
The fines will
correct?
keep accruing, but unlike the lien for the demolition, the city would have to initiate a lawsuit to collect the
To collect
fines,
those fines.
which then go to the school board.
Demolition law.
If I recall
Can you
too,
repeat one more time, that one, lien for my property?
I'm going to answer Councilman Crawford again, that the fines would continue to accrue, that they're treated differently than the lien. The cost of the demolition become a lien on the property. The fines accrue, and we would only collect it as if we initiate a lawsuit, got a judgment, and then executed on the judgment.
well,
So I want to be clear, if we delay this for the next 30 days, there is a $200 a day lien on this property. And we can't just say, well, we're going to forgive that, because it then becomes, everybody's going to come to us and say, we want you to forgive our stuff. So is that fair?
The fines aren't a lien. The fines just accrue, and then the city has to go to Superior Court or District Court, depending on the amount, to actually pursue those.
Would the fines stop when the demolition begins?
when do the fines cease?
Would they stop the minute the bulldozer starts tearing the building down?
I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
Okay, because I think that's important.
Once it's demolished, the fines stop.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially when the bulldozer shows up to knock the building down, the
Once
fines are done?
Once the demolition's finished and everything's done, the fines stop. So
Okay, all right.
whether that's typically in this type of a setting, from what I understand, this is like a day to demo it. Maybe 2 days to demo it with the grading and everything else.
What do you think the process would be, or how long, just as a rough estimate, do you think it would take to get like a bid and a contract written? I mean, is that an extra 30 days, 90 days, or 2 days?
From my experience, it takes some time. I mean, I think another one that council did a few months ago took several months to get the bids, because they have to write the bids, put the bids out. The bids have to get, people have to have time to develop the bids, submit the bids, have to be open, they have to identify who's going to be the actual contractor. So it takes time.
So it
to
could
do
be
all
3
these
months,
things.
could be
Could very
5
well
months. Okay,
Yep.
that's
And
important.
just again, to make sure that everybody's clear, there are fines that accrue every single day. We're after compliance. That's what we're trying to achieve here. So once they're in compliance, then the city has the ability to waive those and remove those fines. So again, we're trying to get to a place to where we can get, compliant back with the code.
Compliance doesn't mean the order to demo has been issued, because I think it's to your point, like, are we accruing more money on something that we're gonna do anyway? This is why we have discussions, right? But you don't have the ability to stop that so compliance in this opinion is, like you said, once it's clear.
Correct.
Okay.
Once it's demoed and done.
But the fines, I want to make sure we're clear on this.
Yes, sir.
The fines continue to accrue until that demo is completed.
That is
That
correct.
could be another 2 months or 3 months, but we have the right to revoke those as well. Am I hearing that?
Correct.
So we would have a sort of a responsibility to not or do that. But I would recommend right now we move on this and get this moved forward. So in other words, the answer is approve this, in my opinion.
So are you making that in the form
Make that
of
as
a
a motion
motion?
to go ahead and approve the demolition, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt an ordinance ordering the demolition of the structure located at 426 Lincoln Street, owned by Clean Clothes Enterprises. Did I get that correct, both of you? Okay. All right, is there any further discussion on this motion?
Yes, Mayor. The only thing I want to add to, not to muddy the waters, Laderick and Chief, if we can ensure, this timeline here, we did not have the park in place. Now we have a park in place, so there's children, there's a lot of visitors. We just learned today of how many visitors we've had just since the opening. So maybe a increase in patrol, just a little extra visibility, something like that, if we could approve that, or you could fit that into your schedule. I'm just asking that to make sure that while we wait for this, and while we go forward and get the bids in place, nothing happens that we can't pull back of somebody's safety.
Yes, sir.
And is it also possible, Chief, that we just make sure there's a face-to-face that does go through, here's what this means, here's what a lien is, this is how, that kind of thing? That would be fantastic. Because I apologize for y'all for the last 25 minutes or whatever it was, but I feel much better about the motion that we've arrived at. So sometimes it takes time.
And somehow I don't want to lose sight of the angel scenario that we could perform with, doing away with some of these fines if that were to be a council's approval. Okay, I think we ought to consider that down the road.
Yes, sir. As soon as we finish and this is completed, then I will walk outside with these fine folks and we'll work.
That's exactly
through that.
all I wanted.
Yes,
We got a
ma'am.
motion and a second.
Right.
That's exactly, thank you.
Okay,
Chief,
we
I
have a
appreciate that.
motion and a second. We're still in discussion.
What are
Councilman-
what's the motion?
The motion
kinda
is
confused.
to approve, the motion is to approve, to adopt an ordinance ordering the demolition of the structure located at 426 Lincoln Street, owned by Clean Clothes Enterprises.
Perfect. So we did not table it. We didn't make any
No,
changes to this.
that-
All right, perfect. That's
right.
where we started.
So we do
okay.
have a motion and a second, and
And
we're in the discussion period. Are you raising your hand to discuss? Oh, okay.
I'm
all right.
good. Thank you so
So,
much.
okay, is there any other discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. That motion passes unanimously. Okay, next up is item 7. Consider adopting a reimbursement resolution for expenditures associated with a planned fiscal year 27 installment financing. Jessica talked about this item also on Tuesday night. Are there any additional questions on that? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt a reimbursement resolution for expenditures associated with a planned fiscal year 27 installment financing.
So moved, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8, consider authorizing the city manager and staff to move forward with site investigation and schematic design with the consultant firm McAdams for WW Flow Park in the amount of $101,815. And this is an item that Jay talked to us about on Tuesday night and mentioned again in his bond project report tonight. Are there any additional questions? Then in that case, I would entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to move forward with schematic design with the firm McAdams for the bond-funded renovations to WW Flow Park in the amount of $101,815.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Item 9 is the item that Jeff Corley talked with us about. Consider authorizing the purchase of a replacement jet vac truck for the Stormwater Department from the Jet Vac Equipment Company in the amount of $632,124.13, and to approve the associated budget amendment. Are there any additional questions on that item? If not, I would entertain a motion to authorize the purchase of a replacement jet vac truck for the Stormwater Department from the Jet Vac Equipment Company in the amount of $632,124.13, and to approve the associated budget amendment.
I'll second, make a motion for it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. That motion passes unanimously. Item 10 is considering amending Article 5.10, political activities in the personnel policies and procedures. Ryan talked with us about that on Tuesday night. Of course, we've had a number of previous discussions. Does anybody have any additional questions? Yes, sir. Oh, your light was on. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any questions on that item?
I just have one quick one that I didn't think of the other day. When will this become effective? If we pass it, it
When we
becomes
vote
effective
tonight.
immediately? Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to amend Article 5.10, political activities and the personnel policies and procedures.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second a couple of times. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. We move to item 11, which is consider making appointments on vacancies to various City of Concord boards and commissions. As I reported on Tuesday night, Betty, Lori, and I met along with staff. We gave you a list of recommended names, which was to fill 2 alternates on the Historic Preservation Commission with Brad Sullivan and Michael Modrak. And then 1 appointment on the Library Board of Trustees, which was Raven Odell William Garrity. And a couple on the Public Art Commission. I think Marilyn Long is replacing Selena MacArthur's expired term. And then we had 2 at-large members, and those were Cynthia Sinclair, and we've got 1 still vacant, but we think someone is applying. So, any questions on that? So I would entertain a motion to make the appointments as described to various boards and committees.
I'll make that motion, please.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Next up is the consent agenda, which consists of a number of items which each have been described in your agenda. No one has indicated any questions or concerns. Are there any now? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. That takes us down to our advisory boards and partner reports. And first up is the Transportation Advisory Committee. I think that would be Terry and Philip Graham.
Mayor, I was unable to attend that meeting, and I'm going to pass those duties on to Lori, Ms. Councilman Clay, who is going to give us our report along with Mr. Philip.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll let you go first.
Oh,
You make it a lot more entertaining than I will.
Well, just in our last meeting, sorry, good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Teague. The last months, during the summer, we take a couple months off from some of our meetings. There was items conducted as far as STIP amendments. We do those probably every month. There's some sort of date change, date slip, and so forth. We're crossing over a fiscal year with a project, so nothing really earth-shattering there. The main thing that's coming up is we've got our new, every 2 years we go over the new STIP, the new statewide transportation improvement program. So
we're in the midst of that. That'll be coming before the boards this month, the technical board with staff, as well as the elected board, the TAC. And we'll be going over the methodology for Division 10 and Division 9 for projects submitted and how that'll rate across the state. The main note there is that our area is shifting its focus to more of an intersection, fix that more tangible projects versus the widening projects that can't seem to be funded across the state. So that's probably the main portion I have. Yeah, pinch points. Yeah. Where everything bottlenecks down to, we're going to try to fix those points like we're doing with our design now with the Poplar and Harris project as we're moving forward with that.
And I'll ditto everything that he said. I can read this, but there's a whole lot of MPOs and ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I think probably the most exciting part for all of us out here that don't know all that language is that the Union Cemetery Road realignment has been successfully let and construction is underway according to the monthly Division 10 report. I'd say that's probably in layman's term what we're all excited to know and hear about. So.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, next, Water and Sewer Authority of Cabarrus County, and that is Jeff Corley and Jennifer Hubbard.
I'm going to kick it off. I'd like to introduce our new board chair, Jeff Corley.
Congratulations.
Nobody else would do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Jeff was elected in June, and in all seriousness, Jeff has been on this board for, I don't know how long, but the technical knowledge and the historical value that he has is huge, because we have a lot of young, I'm some of the institutional knowledge on that board, which is really scary. So we have a lot of new board members. So that comes twofold. Jeff's got that whole engineering brain, but we are in a time right now that with all of this expansion and the discussion and bringing all of these municipalities together and these cities and towns and figuring out numbers, it's going to take somebody that's in that lead seat to be able to really direct these discussions and keep them in a really positive way. And I just want to personally say in a public forum that there is nobody that better could be in that seat right now. So I really am glad that Jeff is the chair. We also elected Rob, what's Rob's last name? Dunham, he's the town manager for town of Harrisburg, as the vice chair. So, and Rob has been on there for a couple of years as well. So big leadership change, and we're excited about that. Mike Legg, of course, with his retirement, had been the board chair for a long time. We also sent Robin Moore out on retirement. My joke when we went around was, if you guys know Robin Moore, I actually thought that she was WASAC for a really long time. Like, I didn't know anybody else that worked there. And Jeff sent this thing that was read about her at the meeting, and I think it sums her up well. She was with WASAC for 22 years. And I think her impact definitely extended beyond policies and procedures. She was a trusted leader, a mentor, and a friend, and just really is a big community advocate. So if you see Robin, please thank her for her time on WASAC. And I actually think they are hiring a person, and they divided her job between 3 other people. So she will be missed at WASAC, but that's a big leadership transition over there. So, and then Jeff's going to give some project updates.
All right, just highlight a few projects. One sort of to the east of us, design build project. Team was just selected in BRS and Hazen and Sawyer for the Mount Pleasant force main replacements. All of Mount Pleasant's flow, which is to the east of the county, gets pumped over the ridge to get it to Rocky River. So probably towards the end of the year, you'll start seeing some construction in the 49 area around the arena, Cold Springs Road in there, just to let you know what that is going on. Muddy Creek expansion. So Muddy Creek is the stepchild treatment plant down south of Midland, if you will, much smaller plant. That project's at about 30% design, going from about 300,000 gallons per day to 660. So a little more than doubling the capacity of that plant for the southern part of the county. That project is design build as well. I think Wasac has stumbled across something that a new delivery method that they are just loving. It really is helping not only construct stuff quicker and begin faster, but it also assures some of these projects are just incredibly complicated. Designing new capacity on top of a plant that you also have to keep running, and doing that in the traditional design bid build is just it's just not very practical. The big plant, Rocky River, Phase 4 continues, still looking at completion end of calendar year 27. Probably soon for the board to start talking about allocating that capacity out through that new interlocal. So I would expect by the end of this calendar year, we'd start getting serious on those conversations. And then the last item, we did receive our mid-year true-up last week. If you remember, the mid-year true-up is simply projects that have been constructed in the first 6 months of the year, whose flow is now tributary, so we take them off the paper capacity list. The mid-year does not include any wet or dry weather flow adjustments at the plant, so this number is always generally a very large positive number. So our distribution number 15, since we began this capacity distribution, was 124,171 gallons per day. So that flow will go into your buckets per your policy and be available to you in September.
So a question, we have been discussing for several months the capacity. We as a council have said where we want to go. Have we heard from the other men? Where are we with that? And when you said it's going to be at the end of the year?
No, that's different. He's talking about the current expansion, the Rocky River expansion. So we met in June. Is that right? Yeah, because we're in August. We did not meet in July. So it's interesting, this true up is that whole what we have to give and then what is actually used. So that difference between the paper and the actual use, and that's kind of solidifying that. That was an interesting conversation that we had because some of the jurisdictions came to the board and said, we know what we need, what we're actually going to use, what we're willing to pay for, but then some came with the paper number, but then there was a discussion from Chad, the executive director, that was like, I work in actual numbers. So this month, we have a meeting next week. The jurisdictions were supposed to go back and make sure we were all talking the same language, and then we should kind of know. So there were some numbers that were given, but we just need to make sure that those numbers are, and then that discussion should start, and I really don't know how long it's going to take for us to get there. I think Chad will take those numbers and add the formula up, and then there'll just have to be a discussion of what all we look at. So does that answer that question?
Okay. Any other questions for Jeff or Jennifer? Thank you. All right, next up, Central Line of Council. Lori is our representative there.
Well, our meeting was last night, and I was attending virtually, and they've had some management changes there, and the young lady sent out the wrong Zoom meeting number. So I tried to attend, but I was not able to. I did write them and ask, since the Zoom meeting number was incorrect and no one could Zoom in, would they mind sending a recap of what happened? And if it's acceptable, I'll report that next month.
Great, thank you. Okay, general comments by council members. Does anyone have anything tonight? Hearing none, there is no need of a closed session tonight. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. We stand adjourned. Thank you.